Today's video is all about breakfast casseroles. I have 3 different ones to share with you guys, so let's get started. For our first breakfast casserole, I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees, and this is definitely gonna be one of the kids' favorites. It is the only sweet one I am sharing with you guys in this video, but we are going to make an apple cinnamon roll casserole. So I've got my 9x13 pan here. I just greased it a little bit, and for my first ingredient, I have 2 packages of cinnamon rolls. And I don't know how you guys like to open these, but I pull it a little bit to where the line is visible. It says press with a spoon. I don't ever press with a spoon. I don't press with my finger. Let me see here if I can move you guys. Hit it on the side of a cabinet or a counter. And there you go. That's how I showed my kids how to do it also. So, all right, I'm gonna get all my cinnamon rolls out of here. Oop, let's get that lid to the icing. We are gonna save the icing for later. So I'm gonna get that out and just set it to the side. This is gonna be our glaze to go over the casserole once it's all baked. And these are not the big cinnamon rolls. I know you can buy them in a pack of 5 and they're fairly large. These are, what is this, 8? Yeah, these are the normal size. And I'm just going to cut each cinnamon roll into 4s. And then I have a bowl right here and I'm adding them. Let me take my spoon out. Adding them to my bowl. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to both cans, cutting each cinnamon roll into 4s and just tossing them in my bowl. Now I'm just going to add in 2 21-ounce cans of apple pie filling. And I'm just getting that right in here on top of my cinnamon rolls. There's my second can. All right, and now I'm just gonna mix it all up. So I'm gonna try to get these cinnamon rolls all mixed in with the apple pie filling. Once you've got all that mixed up, you can just add it to your casserole dish. And then I'm just gonna use the same spoon to spread it out, make it a little bit more even in my dish. All right, easy peasy. Now I'm going to get this in my 350 degree oven and let it bake for 50 minutes. Oh man, that looks so good. So I did put it in there for 50 minutes. The top is nice and browned. I'm pretty sure everything is cooked through. I'm like trying to peek through the sides and it looks like it's done. So now, while it's warm, I'm gonna take my icing and just kind of plop it, and then I'm gonna spread it out the best that I can. Both packets of icing has been drizzled across the top, and you're definitely gonna wanna serve this warm. Okay, now that we've got that sweet casserole out of the way, we are working on something a little more savory. This one is probably the one that my husband is most excited for. He is a huge fan of biscuits and gravy. So instead of making a huge pan of gravy, cooking biscuits separately and having everybody kind of make their own, I'm going to just turn it into a casserole. So I've got 1 pound of breakfast sausage in my pan, and I'm just going to get this browned up. My sausage is done. Back over here, I know it's a little further away, I've got my 9x13 pan, and I'm just gonna spray that with a little olive oil spray, or avocado oil is what I have actually. And I'm just going to get my sausage spread out into the bottom of my pan. I have my oven, I can't remember if I already set it, but I do have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. Got my sausage out into my pan. I have my pan on medium, and I'm going to add in about 3 tablespoons of butter. Just gonna coat the bottom of the pan, get it mixed in with the sausage drippings, and let that melt. Now that my butter is melted, I can get started on the roux. So I'm adding in 1/2 cup of flour, a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and I'm also going in with just a little cayenne pepper. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a tiny little bit over the top there And I'm gonna get this all mixed together. All right, I've got all that butter soaked up. And now I'm gonna be using a total of 4.5 cups of milk. And I'm just gonna add it in a little at a time, mixing as I go. And I do have my heat on, or my stovetop on medium. Like I said, I'm gonna add my milk in a little at a time, mixing it up, letting it heat up, and this will turn into a super delicious gravy. And I'm using a total of 4.5 cups of milk. Okay, my gravy is all mixed up, and I don't know if you guys were yelling at me through the screen or what, but don't use a spoon. I caught on real quick. I was like, why do I have a spoon? You want to use a whisk. It just helps to break up the flour mixture, get your roux going, and it dissolving into the milk. Okay, I had to put my mixture into a blender. So hey, if you have lumps, if you're like following along with me and you had your spoon out, one, I am so sorry. I'm not a professional. But two, just throw your mixture into a blender and it is nice and creamy. So I've got my heat off. I'm gonna pull my casserole dish back over here. And you know, I could have not told you guys that I had to put my mixture into a blender and just acted like it was all fine and dandy, but I'm as real as possible with y'all. So I'm adding in my gravy, just pouring it. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Pouring it on top of the sausage. And we don't want to leave any gravy behind. So back to my trusty spoon here. We're gonna scrape the pan and get all of that yummy goodness into our casserole dish. So I have 2 packages of the Grand's flaky layers. These have 8 biscuits in each. And I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the cinnamon roll casserole. So I'm gonna open my package. There we go. Sometimes it cracks on the first bang, sometimes it takes a couple. But like I already said, I like to use the side of my counter to get that bad boy open. Okay, and then also same thing, I'm just gonna cut my biscuits into 4. And then I'll just make a little pile over here. And once I get them all cut up, I'm gonna do both packages. I'm going to place them on top of my biscuits, or not my biscuits, my sausage gravy that's already in the casserole dish. Okay, I've got all my biscuits cut up. So I'm gonna get them placed on top of my gravy, and then my oven has been preheated to 350. And once I get all these biscuits on here, I'm going to bake this for 30 minutes. Biscuits and gravy done. I needed to spoon some out so you guys could see the whole thing, otherwise you just see the biscuits. But I did take a bite. That cayenne pepper, nice little kick. So if you like a little spice, definitely add that, but you could omit it if you didn't want it. It tastes just like biscuits and gravy, just a little easier to serve up to a crowd instead of everybody kind of making their own. You just take a spoonful out and you are good to go. Last one I'm sharing with you guys today, 350 is just the magic number for the oven and casseroles. So I do have my oven preheating to 350. I'm taking my spray and just greasing my 9x13 casserole dish, and we are making a hash brown casserole today. So I've got these patties that I picked up from Walmart, and these are frozen, no need to thaw. You can get them in your pan straight from frozen. And I'm just gonna cover the bottom with my patties. See, I only have 2 left in my package, so I'm trying to figure out the best way. There we go, okay, this way. Best way to put these in here without having just 2 lone patties left in my freezer. Okay, so I just went ahead and used the whole box there and just kind of layered. You do what you want to do though. Just cover your bottom with your patties, your hash brown patties. I've got some shredded sharp cheddar cheese here. This is an 8-ounce bag, and I'm just gonna take about half of it, so about 1 cup, and just sprinkle it over my hash browns. All right, and then I also have a bag of shredded Monterey Jack, and same thing, I'm gonna do about 1 cup. So half of this bag, and just sprinkle that. Ends up being about 2 little handfuls. This casserole is very versatile. So if you want to add some veggies in here, some peppers, onions, totally do that. Different types of meats. You could use breakfast sausage like we did in the biscuits and gravy casserole. You could do bacon. I am going to utilize this package of diced ham. I feel like this package is probably too much, so I am going to measure it out a little, just so I don't have to, actually, I don't need to dirty a measuring cup. Hold up, let me put that up. We're just gonna sprinkle. I just like to give you guys measurements, but I really don't measure things all the time. Baking, yes. Cooking, I just go with what looks right, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, just to be honest. All right, that looks good. I don't want it to be heavy on the ham. These are finely diced too, which is nice. So that looks good to me, but like I said, you want to use a different meat, no meat at all, go for it. You want to add in some peppers, go for it. I'm definitely catering to my family's taste and what my kids like in this one. Next up, I chopped 3 green onions. So I'm just gonna sprinkle those on top. Ooh, that looks so pretty. Set my casserole to the side for a second. I have 9 eggs in a bowl. I'm adding in 1 cup of milk, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground mustard, and I'm not measuring the garlic powder, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, but I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle of garlic powder on top there. And then just using a fork, I'm gonna get all the eggs, seasonings, and milk mixed together. We are almost ready to put this in the oven. So again, my oven is at 350 degrees. I've got my egg mixture all mixed up. I'm just going to pour that on top here. I am going to cover my pan with foil. Now that my foil is on, I'm getting it into my oven for 25 minutes. I'm gonna take the foil off after that 25-minute timer beeps, and then I'm gonna cook it for an additional 20 minutes. All right, 25 minutes is up. I just took the foil off. So I'm gonna get this back in here for another 20 minutes. Okay, hash brown egg casserole is done. I actually had to put this back in the oven. I cooked it for the 45 minutes total, pulled it out, got myself a little square, and then I saw egg running down. So I put it back in. I did replace the foil, so nothing really burnt on the top other than you can see the edges here. But I put it back in for another 15 minutes, and now it is good to go. So just FYI, add a little cook time if you need to, with the foil on top, maybe longer with the foil, and then take the foil off for like the last 10 minutes or something. But anyway, excited to dig in. I've made several variations of this type, so I know it is going to be delicious. But because I had already had this scoop out and I put it back in, it's not as pretty looking as it was, but like I said, I know it's gonna be delicious. All right, those are the 3 that I wanted to share. Breakfast casseroles are super versatile. Pretty much anyone that you come across, you can mix up like the veggies, the meats. For sweet ones like that cinnamon roll one, you could pick any type of pie filling. You could do a cherry pie filling. You could put a little pumpkin in there. I think it would be really good with a whole lot of different variations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.